Hey, bro, we got next game.
Bro, what's going on?
We got this pickup game we're about to get started.
I got a bag full of treats.
Come on, man. Don't nobody want your treats.
Treats? What kind of treats?
Vapes, pills, and drugs.
Whoa, what do you mean?
Don't tell your parents.
Looks like I'm right on time. What's going on here?
There's Sergeant Be Safe. I gotta get a picture.
Oh man, be safe.
Treacherous Tony, we know you're up to no good. What's in that bag right there?
What bag?
Sergeant Be Safe, it's his drugs. He tried to sell it to us.
Thanks, big guy, for letting me know.
You're welcome.
You kids get out of here.
Treacherous Tony, drop the bag and come over here.
You'll have to catch me first.
Don't run, or you're gonna get tased.
All right. Taser, taser, taser.
All right. I give up. I won't do it again.
That's right, your drugs will be disposed of. So put your hands up. You're coming with us.
I'm sick of going to jail.
Listen up, kids. Don't use drugs, vapes, or pills. They're not good for you. And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
So your keys are in the door.
I follow you on TikTok. I've already seen this. By the way, you don't have your seatbelt on, sir. If you'll pull right up there for me.
You. Oh no, please don't walk over here. Please don't. Oh, okay. Hi! How can I help you?
Welcome to Black and Blue, the podcast that brings you the untold stories behind the badge. Every week at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we dive deep into the lives of our unsung heroes, the first responders and law enforcement officers who put their lives on the line to protect us all. So join us as we humanize the badge. We shed light on the incredible individuals who wear it proudly. From rookies just starting out on their journey to seasoned vets with years of experience, even retirees who continue to make a difference in their communities. Come with us and discover the trainings that mold us. The unforgettable experiences that make us. And the publications that inspire us to push forward. So buckle up and get ready to embark on a thrilling journey through the lives of those who protect and serve. This is the Heartbeat, Black and Blue. Black and Blue, where the stories behind the badge are true. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another weekly episode of Black and Blue. I'm your host. I'm Clee Tilman, sometimes Coach Clee, sometimes Clark Tent, spelled C-L-E-E, continuing law enforcement edutainment, and we're having fun while we do that. I'm your motivational speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker, bringing you another episode. I got a special guest in the backstage, and I'm going to introduce him in a minute. I'm excited about this show. I hope you guys are too, because for one, we're streaming on 5 different platforms. We're streaming on 2 on YouTube, 2 on Facebook, and 1 on LinkedIn. So make sure if you're looking for that shout out, you got to put your name and where you're from in the comment section, and we'll give you that shout out that you're looking for. If you have a question, because this is going to be an interactive live, make sure you put that in the comment section. I can't see who's on here until you put something in the comment section. All right. So if you have that question, put that in the comment section, and it's about a 3 to 5 second delay, and we'll highlight it and we'll acknowledge it as best as we can. But we're going to have a tremendous conversation going on today. Again, this is Black and Blue. I'm your host. This is the podcast that's just for you, where we highlight first responders and law enforcement officers, whether they're rookie, seasoned, or retiree. And when we highlight them, we talk about their training and their experiences and their publications. And we have a lot of fun doing that. Again, most of you guys already know that this platform is sponsored by One Way Publishing. One Way Publishing produces the cartoon that you saw in the beginning with Sergeant Be Safe, and it also is a book publishing company. I wrote 5 books myself. A couple of them are behind me, but there's books back there that there are other clients that wrote also. Let me get Kay Child's book. Her book of poetry, her poetry book is up there. It took her 20 years to decide if she wanted to become an author, and she already had this done. She decided to become a published author, and she wrote her book of poems, and she's very happy that she got to do that. Again, mother and daughter, Shayla and Sophia Thompson, got to write their first children's book, the dynamic duo To Be So Tall. And they've been doing school assemblies, had tables set up for book signings, so many wonderful things. One Way Publishing also does the voiceovers for Sergeant Be Safe. Sorry, you guys know I'm getting over that cold. Anyone who was here last week, so therefore my voice is going in and out. But they did Sergeant Be Safe videos. They do the voiceovers for that. And if you ever wanted to be on the show, workwithclee.com. Let me get this banner up here. Let me get the right banner. Make sure you guys hit that like button, tag, like, and share as well. But workwithclee.com, excuse me, is where you will want to go if you're interested in becoming a voiceover or to come on this platform itself. All right. And we see I see that amazing book behind you, not 20 years, but several. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Shout out to you, Shayla. Thank you for tuning in. Please tag, like, and share. Some of you guys may know who this guest is. Others of you may not. And I'm excited to have him. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I'm excited to have him because the names of our podcasts are very similar, and the themes are very similar too. We like to humanize the badge. We like to bring awareness out there. We like to have interviews on current topics and things like we pull in individuals who are in this community out there as a way to not show one rigid side of law enforcement, but have a free-flowing side of law enforcement. For one, for recruitment, for one, for understanding, for one, for understanding and to see how we operate to humanize the badge itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, excuse me, I got Mr. Dale Peters, the podcast host, who's also a police investigator. He's the podcast host of Black in Blue, Black in Blue, the podcast, with over 26 years in the law enforcement community itself. He likes to highlight minorities and getting them into law enforcement and finding out how to bridge that gap. He uses humanizing the badge to also as a recruitment tool. For the platform itself. Sorry again. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, without further ado, I'm going to bring him to the stage right now. Dale, are you here?
My man, I'm right here, brother. I'm right here.
Perfect. Yeah, it said my voice is going out. I'm trying to maintain it through this intro. I had to cut the intro a little bit short, but Dale, thank you for making yourself available and coming here on the show. I appreciate that.
Appreciate you, man. I'm sending you good vibes from Southern California. You can get over that illness that you got right now, man.
Yeah, you heard it cut out to take a sip of this tea. But
hey, got mine right here.
Yeah, I know. Cheers.
Cheers. Yep.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, not a problem. So I'm out here in Southern California, just outside of LA. Been out here, most of my adult life, all of my adult life. I've been out here since a teenager, but I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. Shout out to the OHIO. And but I've been out here since I was a teenager. And I got involved with really wanting to be in the law enforcement because, like everybody else in the early 20s, I thought it was a cool job. I wanted to, drive fast cars and hook and book and all that sort of stuff like we all wanted to do. Except when we went to the interviews, we said we wanted to, be a betterment for the community and all that, which I did. But, in my early 20s, I wanted to, drive cars fast and all that sort of stuff. But the real thing that really made me want to get into the profession, I'm going to date myself here, was the Rodney King incident. So
Okay.
yeah. So I was, just fresh out of high school around that time when that happened, a couple years out of high school when that happened. And that really, really struck a chord with me when seeing, how Rodney King was treated, even if he was, doing dirt,
Right.
how those officers treated him in that horrific beating. That really struck a chord with me. And I was like, you know what, if and when I ever become a police officer, that's not going to happen on my watch,
Right.
And we got a big thing out here in California now called duty to intercede and Senate Bill number 2, where, you have to intercede on an officer that you think is going above and beyond the use of force that should be used on a certain situation. I've always been about that. I've always been one to speak out. Hey, it doesn't have to be like in the movies where you tackle the guy and all that sort of stuff, but you could just speak up even from day one. Hey, brother, man, I got this. Save your partner his job, right? That's always been my philosophy. Those tenets that I've always lived by, and that's me in a nutshell.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing. And it's interesting, you get guys on here that had the burning desire since they were babies or young children, watching cop shows, playing cops and robbers. You get those that graduate high school and have no idea what they want to do, and they do a ride along, and then they're sold like that. I remember, I think I'm dating myself as well. I was either 8th or 9th grade when the Rodney King incident happened. I remember being in high school or middle school, somewhere in those years, watching it as well. And again, like you said, good, bad, or indifferent, regardless of what he did, it was the first time that I remember something being brought to the screen that was caught on camera, and it was a big deal. I was like, wow. I mean, just to watch the amount of beating that a man took for whatever happened, I was like, yeah, I want to get in this profession too. But again, like you said, I don't want to be that guy.
Right.
I wanted to get in. I wanted, again, like, to help people. I wanted to solve problems. I wanted to come to work and not every single day be the exact same day, or it's unpredictable. But I too wanted to drive fast cars. I wanted to do the fun stuff. I wanted to go ahead and I was in my 20s as well and live the life of adrenaline. I just recently got out the Army and I was airborne, so the life of adrenaline was right there. So exactly what you're saying.
Yep. And not to sugarcoat everything and gloss over everything and make it all rosy and everything. I've had my experiences with police officers, growing up, and that weren't all that rosy. And I've never been beaten or anything like that to that effect. But I've had officers that were unprofessional and being, lack of a better phrase, being D's to me. And I always thought, that was unprofessional, that was uncalled for. And if and when again I ever become a police officer, I'm not going to be like that. So I've always treated people with dignity and respect. I've even had people, people that I've arrested compliment me, for not being that way in the past. So, that's always been, my philosophy, the way I ended things. And you don't need to treat people that way. They go into jail and hopefully you going home. So you can leave it at that. Right.
Exactly. I agree.
Yep.
So with your long, extensive history in law enforcement, your tenure there, what experiences have you had, good, bad, or indifferent, that you can share with us? Have you been involved in any special units or anything like that throughout your career?
Oh, Lord. Where do I begin? Yeah, I've been on a few different departments. For one, my current department, I've been there a little over 18 years, going on 19 years. So, and a couple other departments before that. But with my current department now, I was an SRO, which is a school resource officer. I did that for 4 years. Of course, a field training officer, off and on. Whenever I get off a specialty, come back to patrol. I'm a specialty a FTO there. I've been on a drug task force, a majors task force. You can see the shadow box that they gave me when I got off that team there. And that was a fun job because, again, that was a majors team. And we weren't just dealing with, street level stuff. We were dealing with kilos and millions of dollars. There was a task force with DEA and all these agencies in this area. And we were, like I said, I'm in the LA area. We would be down in San Diego 1 minute, following somebody all the way up to LA, watching the house, hit the house, get some information, and then have to roll off to another house. And it would be an all day thing, 12, 15, 16-hour day. And then you go home, it's 2-hour drive back home. And the sergeant says, hey, I'll see you guys again tomorrow at 8:00 in the morning. We were like, oh, really? But, that was overtime, lots of overtime, obviously. But that was a fun gig. I've been in investigations. I'm in investigations now. I deal with internet crimes against children. So for lack of a better phrase, kiddie porn is what I deal with now. And those are guys you hear about, a lot of things not being prosecuted nowadays. This is one crime that's still being prosecuted, even here in California, because getting child predators off the street is job number one for us and prosecutors. So yeah, I've done a lot of things in my career.
Gotcha. Hey, a few of those things I've done myself. As actually everything that you mentioned, I've done myself, and it was a lot of fun doing it. I know that. The one thing is investigations with child. It takes a special officer to actually sit there and do those investigations. So I salute and commend you for that, because that is not an easy area. That's not an easy investigation to actually go after those predators, to actually see who the victims are, what may have happened to the victims, and things like that. I've had a few guests on the show who were also in child porn investigators, and hearing some of their cases, like, it just immediately it makes your blood start boiling. So I commend you for that.
Yeah, absolutely, because those are when you get to the lowest level of it is possession of we don't call it child pornography anymore. The new term nowadays is child sexual abuse material, CSAM, because children obviously can't be they can't be participants in that sort of stuff because they're not of age, so they are being sexually abused. And you got to actually watch the videos. For legally, you have to watch the videos to determine whether or not this person was in fact a minor. You have to be able to describe the scene in a warrant, because you can't transmit, you can't show anyone else, not even a judge, because it is against the law, these images. So you have to be able to describe it to a T in your warrant. The room was like this. It had a portrait in the back that said the words black and blue in white letters. Below that was lighting. You got to be able to describe all that.
Right.
So it's a lot of people don't want to do that because you actually have to watch the videos. But I see it as being able to identify victims. Hopefully you can identify victims. Nowadays a lot of the stuff is dark web stuff that is produced in, say, in Russia or wherever. But if it's self-produced here in out here in LA or whatever, we go after those people vigorously.
Man, again, I commend you. I commend you for that.
Absolutely. And it's only a matter of time before these people, just like drugs, just watching these videos isn't enough for them. It's only a matter of time before they want to go hands-on with the
I hear that often. It's like a like you said, gateway or staircase. Your entry level is up here, and then you start building to where it becomes more dangerous, more violent, more inappropriate person.
Oh yeah, I've had guys that actually have attempted to meet minors, and so that sort of stuff. And if one case I was working, if it was not for her, she set up a meet with a guy, and if she didn't chicken out at the last second, and she would have gotten into this car, who knows what would have happened to her. And she was only 12. And this guy was in his in his 30s.
So, like I ask anyone who comes on here who does these kind of investigations, what kind of safety tips or what kind of red flags can you give our listeners or our parents to give them a heads up on what to look for on some? I know it's kind of a loaded question. Some things that are maybe obvious, or some things that may be not so obvious that can be swept under the rug.
Well, you got to monitor what your kids are doing online, what they're doing on their phones. I know a lot of people nowadays want to think that they want to be the kids' friends, and they want to give them as much privacy. No, until they are 18, and you are actually you paying that bill, right, for that phone. So that is your phone. So you can look through that phone, and I implore you, please look through that phone, look through all those social media posts, look through the DMs, and see who they're communicating with, see what kind of pictures and things that that they're sending to each other, and that they may be sending people. There's a lot of sextortion cases going on nowadays where, little Johnny thinks he's meeting some hot girl named Sarah, and it's really some dude sitting in Nigeria, right? And he's got this profile picture of of a cute girl named Sarah, and send me a picture of you, I'll send you a picture of me. And they entice these minors to send them a picture, and then once they get the picture, they say, hey, send me some money, or else this is going out to your friends list. Wow. And of course, people, these kids, especially, would and today's generation get a little freaked out on that. And I can understand why, but I've actually had cases where they did actually send pictures to their mom and all that sort of stuff, and that's devastated them. But I joke with a few of my partners. Maybe the generation's a little different, because if somebody tricked me to, hey, send me some money, or I'm going to send this. Hey, send it. You want some more pictures? Maybe that'll help me out.
Oh.
But just a little levity there. But these kids, they can get emotionally drained and emotionally harmed from these situations. And I've had kids actually send them $200-$300 to keep these things, but it never ends. They ask for more money, they ask for more money, they ask for more money, and it never ends. And a lot of these kids end up trying to harm themselves, want to commit suicide. So parents, keep tabs on what your kids are doing online on those phones. I talked to a lot of kids, in high school and in middle school about sending images to each other. You got this couple you remember when you were that age, right? And these kids think that they're going to be in love forever, so they send pictures to each other, and then the next day they break up. But little Sarah sent her boyfriend Tommy this picture, and now he's showing everybody in school, and so now everybody sees little Sarah's goods. And all that sort of drama starts popping off, and a lot of these females get into depression because of this sort of stuff, and because the whole school's seeing it, and it's just, these phones are going to be the death of us, because I tell these kids, not that I was an angel when I was your age, but I didn't have this little device where I had to record everything. That's their philosophy nowadays, is if you don't record it, it didn't happen. If you don't have pictures of it, it didn't happen. Where it did happen? It happened right here. So I'm not going to be naive to tell you not to engage in sexual activity. I wish you would not, but if you do, don't record, don't break out the phone. Hopefully you can speak to somebody, a counselor, a parent. I know me, when I was an SRO, speak to me about it. But just try to keep everything in your pants, and if you do cross that line, don't record it, and definitely don't send it to anybody else. Yeah.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. More safety tips on sex trafficking, sex and child pornography, and things along those lines. If you have any more questions on any of that while watching the replay, please put them in the comment section, and we will go ahead and address them. I'm going to kind of change gears a little bit. I'm going to ask my next question right here. I want to know how you decided to become a podcast host and start doing podcasting for Black and Blue.
All right. Well, again, sort of like when I told you about, the Rodney King thing and how that kind of touched me. Another thing that touched me was 2020, and we all know what 2020 was about. Other than COVID, we had, George Floyd, we had Breonna Taylor, we had Ahmaud Arbery, we had all that jump off in 2020. Yep. And with that came the defund the police movement and all the actions against law enforcement. And to me, being involved in this profession for a good portion of my life, I didn't want that to be the only perspective out there. Right. I wanted to show that, we as people of color, as men of color, me being an African American male in the profession, I wanted to show that, hey, we got skin in this game too. And don't just be sitting there complaining from the sidelines. Don't speak about it, be about it. Get into the game, be the change that you want to see, instead of just complaining from the sidelines. So that was kind of the impetus of me wanting to start this podcast. I already had some a lot of extensive knowledge in electronics and stuff like that. You see behind me, you know, records and stuff like that. I've been a DJ since high school, so I kind of, you know, got, you know, a bunch of, you know, microphones, and, you know, I kind of knew all that stuff already. So I wanted to kind of bring that technical know-how and the experience that I had as a police officer to kind of bring this perspective of, you know, minorities, because, you know, mostly what you see when you think of a police officer is a Caucasian male for the most part, and
Right.
and I've got wonderful Caucasian male partners and friends, not just co-workers, but friends as well. But I wanted to show that hey, we as minorities, we as Black people, we've got as much right to be in this law enforcement profession, and kind of show others, hey, come on, join us, be part of this solution. And that's kind of the impetus. So you know, I started reaching out to people that I know to kind of come on the show, and it's kind of grown from there.
Interesting. I like that story because it's very similar, believe it or not. Mine, I was doing podcasting as well, and I was trying to keep it under the rug that I was in law enforcement, and I was interviewing people on businesses, products, and positive messages up until 2020 when the riots happened, and then a local jurisdiction, I was working the weekend, called for help because the Capitol was being surrounded by originally it was protesters, then the crowd turned violent, so then we had them all make a mad dash. And when they called for us to go, we were just supposed to go be support, like shut a roadway down like a mile away from where everything was going on. We ended up being a front line. We were there with riot shields and batons and helmets and everything. And so it was crazy because I recognized some people I knew in the crowd, other people I didn't, but just the amount of it was just a bad day. I put it that way. It was a lot. It was a long day, a bad day. A lot of things happened that day. But to come back and I was angry when I was leaving just for the amount of disrespect that was going on that didn't need to happen. And I'm like, something needs to be done. A voice needs to be heard. So this whole platform changed from it was called The Lab. Now it's called Black and Blue. Just to humanize the badge, get a voice out there to show a different side of us, to show the trainings, experiences, publications, to show the human side of us, to show what we do when we're off, to show what we do when we retire, to show exactly what is legitimately a police problem and what legitimately is not a police problem, but everything gets on us because either media, news, whatever it may be, or they're told, yeah, the police didn't do this, the police didn't sentence him for 50 years and put him away, and things like that. I'm like, that's not the police. Most things that we get blamed for is not law enforcement, not for us, not police itself. And so therefore, like you said, I created this platform to humanize the badge and get the word out there too. So I commend and I appreciate you for doing what you're doing. It's not an easy job to take, but to keep it going is a big deal.
Yeah. I've been at it since 2020, like I said. And, you know, our two platforms are similar. You're Black and Blue, and mine is Black and Blue. I wanted to show the duality of, you know, being a Black man and being in blue, working in law enforcement. And, you know, that's the message I was trying to get out there, that, hey, we've come a long way. We still got some ways to go. You know, there's some bad actors in this profession, but it's, you know, 0.1% of, you know, not even 1%, maybe 0.1% of those doing the job. And I just kind of wanted to highlight that and get that out there.
Yeah, absolutely. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to pause for the calls momentarily. We're going to jump to a Starting to Be Safe commercial, and then we're going to jump right back into this interview. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Stand by.
Right back.
Wrong one.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
Sergeant Be Safe here, and I'm stuck in the office. I'm stuck. You want to know why? I'll be completing reports for stolen vehicles. Yeah, that's right, stolen vehicles. I tell people all the time to lock their doors and put away their valuables. However, this continues to happen. Do you know that about approximately 95% of all auto thefts can be prevented? Here, let's go for a walk and I'll show you a few examples. Example number 1. You go to the store and you leave your car running. Little do you know that Chance Wilder's on the prowl. He sees your car running with the door unlocked, gets in it,
and they're off! At the start.
Oh no!
Frustrating. Let's move on to example number 2. You're at home and the car's parked for the day. But you feel safe and secure and believe this could never happen to me. And there's Rob You Blind going from car to car. Just got caught though.
Poopa, be safe.
Hands up. You're coming with me.
Ooh.
People leave their car doors unlocked and believe it or not, their keys in them. Here's video footage of someone going onto someone's driveway and entering their car, and guess what? Stealing that too. Even if you don't keep your car key, don't keep your spouse's key in the vehicle either. Believe it or not, they park right beside you. So therefore, take the extra step, lock your vehicle, and take your keys inside. So here's a little bit of information for you. If your car is ever stolen, and then I find it and recover it, it's usually not in the same condition that it once was. It could have been involved in a motor vehicle accident because of joyriding, or just have more dents, scratches, and damage on it. You'll get an incident report and a tow bill. Your insurance company may cover the towing and recovering fee, but you could also have to come out of pocket with some extra expenses. So now let's move on to example number 3. Parking lots at major businesses are prime targets. Lock your doors, put valuables away, park in well-lit areas, and definitely do not, I cannot stress it any harder, leave your vehicle running in the parking lot. Because no matter how many times Rob You Blind and Wild Chance go to jail, they will always take advantage of a prime opportunity to take your valuables or steal your vehicle. Don't be an easy target. Hands up, you both are coming with me. Ooh. These are just a few examples of how you can protect yourself and be vigilant with your property. And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
All right, and we are back. I see Seti P's in here thinking that I was smiling earlier today, and I wasn't, but thank you for tuning in. Make sure you tag, like, and share. We're jumping right back into this interview with Dale Peters, also the podcast host of Black in Blue, and we just started touching on that. Dale, can you tell us about any of the guests that you've had on your show, or what you've seen since you started since 2020 up until now? Have you seen any positive impact on minorities or displaced individuals changing their view on law enforcement, actually wanting to get into this occupation, wanting to be the difference instead of complaining about the differences that society kind of throws on us?
Yeah, I've seen, differences like that, not because of my show, but, just in my travels and talking to people, and, some of the views that were, expressed back in 2020 is kind of reeled back in since then. And then now people are kind of realizing the importance of police. Not that they didn't back then.
Right.
Back then they didn't, there's a misconception about what defund the police meant, that they didn't want police at all. It's not that they didn't want police, is that they wanted to be treated fairly by the police whenever they have interactions with police. So that's what I've seen. As far as my show, I've had lots of, I interview lots of chiefs all the way down to, patrol officers on my show. I've had, the chief of DC on, the chief of, so many to name. My latest episode right now, I've got the special agent in charge of DEA in Detroit on the show. So, he's talking about, his career and, their efforts to combat, right now, fentanyl's the big thing across the country, lots of overdoses and all that, and, how they're dealing with that in Detroit. So, yeah, that's, I try to interview lots of different walks of life on the show, different people, different ranks of life. I've started a new segment where I review police videos with civilians.
Okay.
And try to gauge their, because we all see these videos on social media, and then they go viral, and everyone is always talking about the police, just like you said, the police should have done this, police should have done that, they were wrong for doing this, but they don't get the whole story because of course the media doesn't show the whole story. So I like to show those backstories, but also I don't just show when the police are doing great. I also show when the police are doing bad as well, but I like to get those perspectives from regular people. From the last one I just did was a musician. I've had IT people on, and just people in regular walks of life to do this, and so we can kind of humanize us and spread the word and all that sort of stuff, and kind of show that law enforcement, we're not infallible, but when we do, we got to be held accountable, and we are, for the most part.
Exactly. And so, and I like how you bring in different perspectives, different walks of life in order to kind of bridge that gap. And I know, especially in 2020 in particularly, and leading up to 2020, it was kind of like a us versus them, LEO versus the public. And I like, it doesn't need to be this way. It's just a lack of communication. Like it's right there. So you're actually having those conversations while reviewing live video. I think it's a great idea. One of the cases that happened about a year or so ago, I'm not going to get in, I'll give the highlights of it. I'm not going to get into the details, but you could see they were like task force officers in like hoodies with outer carriers on. So they weren't typical patrol officers, but they were in a task force style vehicle making a task force style stop. And the situation went badly. But looking at it from law enforcement, you could tell this wasn't a basic patrol stop. You could tell that these were investigators that had more likely had some sort of investigation where they were trying to apprehend someone that actually the situation went viral and it went bad after that. Not knowing what to look for or not understanding how law enforcement works. And I could be wrong. I could have been wrong at the time, but it just looks back as a whole, because you say the cops did this. Why were they even chasing this guy? When realistically, if you get deeper into it, and I know a lot of information can't be put out on active cases, it's actually a lot deeper and makes more sense than what's really is shown and perceived.
Yeah. I like now that a lot of agencies are releasing body cam footage, quickly nowadays. That was a big thing when body cam and even audio cams were audio recorders were out, that chiefs of police and all these agency heads wouldn't want to release that information right away, even if it wasn't even if it was showing the officers in a positive light, just because they wanted to hold on to that information. But when you release that information and it shows the full story as opposed to what the media wants to show, then it's out there. Let me indulge you a little bit more. One of these types of things that I did, these segments that I did, was with a business owner, from the Atlanta area, and I showed him a viral video. I believe this happened in Ohio. I don't remember exactly where. I think it was in Ohio. Anyway, so the video which was shot by a cell phone video, showed these three cops surrounding this black guy who had a sling on his arm. You may have seen that video. He had a sling on his arm, and then they're just talking to him about his vehicle, and then all of a sudden they slam him to the ground. And his girlfriend, who's filming the videos, like, he didn't do anything. Why are you tackling him? Leave him alone. He didn't do nothing. Right. So of course, when that went viral, everyone was like, oh my God, these cops, they out of control. They doing this, that, and the other. Right. Well, that agency, and I showed this, when I showed that part of the video, I showed that first. And of course, this guy, oh man, these cops are out. He was saying the same. These cops are out of control. I don't think they should have been doing that, this, that, and the other. Right. Then I show him the full story from the agency that released their debrief of it, including the body cams and the 911 call, right? And what happened in that case was the guy's mom called 911 on him because he's a twin, and the guy's mom called, said he's breaking out all the windows in the house, and she needs the cops there right now, right? And so then these cops, they kind of know who this guy is, so they get there, they contact him. And he's got, like I said, he's got a sling on, and they ask him about it, and he's like, "Oh, ain't nothing wrong. I'm just wearing this." He's doing this with the sling on, right? Okay, right. So he's doing that, and then he's trying to pass himself off as his twin brother. So they're trying to figure out, is he the twin or is he the one that is getting called at, whatever. In the end, they find out who he really is, and he's got a warrant, right? So they say to him when they surrounded him, when his cell phone video starts, where you can't hear them talking, all you can hear, because she's kind of back away, is recording it. And they say, hey, you're under arrest, you got a warrant. And he says, don't touch me because I got a gun on me. And then one of the cops says, where's the gun? And he says, don't worry about it. And then they tackle him.
Yeah.
Right. So this is all on their body cam. And of course, you know, the guy I was doing this video, he's like, oh man, that changes everything. He does.
Yeah.
But of course, the media didn't show that part, right?
Yeah.
They just showed.
Yeah, I know drama sells tickets. So it's kind of like we get thrown under the bus for views. I get it from a business standpoint for the media, but it's still not fair, not fair. And it's unfortunate for those of us that actually are on the front line, because it's a safety concern as well.
Absolutely. Yep.
So as far as, have you had any contact or dealt with any youth individuals from schools or anyone from your time as an SRO? Have you had anyone come back, or have you had any of their children per se come back, or dealing with any camps or anything of kids that are like, you know, I kind of want to be a cop, but I don't know because, and then you kind of go off and have the conversation. Have you ever dealt with anything like that?
You know, I won't say I've had kids come back and say they wanted to be police officers, but I will say that I've had positive interactions and positive results from being an SRO. I was an SRO at a high school, and I also dealt with the middle school kids, because let me tell you, the middle school kids are really the ones that are off the hook.
I know.
The high school kids. So but just recently I went to a middle school for one of these investigations I'm doing now a few weeks ago, and ran into a young lady that was always in trouble at the high school when I was there as an SRO, and she's doing good now. I would always counsel her when she came into the office. I would sit in the office and talk to her, and when her mom came and all that. She's doing good now. Now she is in college, and she's working as a teacher's assistant in the same school district now.
Nice.
So so she turned herself around. I won't say it's solely because of me, but I'm hopefully that was part of that. Another thing, building those relationships as a police officer in a school. I know there was a movement to remove police officers from schools, starting back in 2020 and all the way up to now. My chief's philosophy at the time that brought back, because my department, we didn't have SROs for maybe 10 years, and then we brought it back. And then we brought the program back. And his mandate was, we're not going to be the pipeline to the justice system for these kids. We're not going to be writing tickets for every little thing like we used to do back in the day. We are there for the major things, of course, like active shooters and stuff like that. But in the meantime, you were there to be a person to show that law enforcement is approachable. So you need to get out the office and you need to talk to these kids. And I took that to heart. I would do that all the time. I would talk to these kids. I'll have fun with them. I would have debates about hip hop with a bunch of these kids, tell them, of course their hip hop is trash and my hip hop was the best and all that sort of stuff. That's what we do. That's what we do. But so again, another troubled kid. I would always talk to this kid. He was always in trouble about something. And, unfortunately, he ended up getting expelled from school for some business that he was doing. Fast forward, maybe a few months later, I'm sitting at my office at school, and I hear a patrol call out that they're at this apartment because this male is going crazy in the apartment. He's holding his knife to his family and all this sort of stuff. And I recognize the name as this same kid. So I rush over there. When I get over there, they got the apartment surrounded. They're evacuating the whole apartment building. They're evacuating that building, and you can hear him yelling from the street and all that. And then I call in. I'm not gonna say his name. Just say his name is Johnny. Say, hey, Johnny. I yell in. Because the officers got their rifles out and all this. So calm down, guys. Calm down, guys. Hey, Johnny, and he goes, Peters, is that you? And I go, yeah, man. What you doing? He's like, oh man, they just tripping. I was like, hey, drop the knife and come outside with your hands up, and we'll talk about it. Sure enough, he did it. So building those relationships where, he was able to trust me and know that, I was there to make sure that his best interests were taken care of. That's really rewarding to me. So that's really what the program is about. Making sure that, these kids, when they see you out on the street, they don't see us as an occupying force. They see us as somebody they can wave to, when they're out of high school, and they can, they're not afraid of the cops.
Yeah, that's community policing 101 itself, starting right there in school. Yeah.
A lot of times they say high school is too late. You want to get them in elementary and middle school, but high school is where all the drama is. So that's where we were stationed, and I'd like to say I was a positive impact on those kids too. It case in point, that story I just shared with you.
Yeah. It's interesting. That's a good story, and thank you for sharing that. And it's not the first time you hear stories like that for individuals who were either SROs or actually get out in the community while they're working the beat and actually engage with the community and do community policing, because again, it breaks down those barriers. You become one with the community. People, they know you at first name, them at first name, their family, hey, you're such and such grandson, hey, I just saw your cousin the other day. And so you can have those small conversations, or you can say, hey, I heard your science grade wasn't good. Why don't you take a look at X, Y, and Z? And it may bring your grade up, or this may help you out. Why don't you check out this app? This app is good for botany if you have to work a science project and you're working on plants. They're like, wow, I didn't know that. And those little things go a long way, because then when something does happen in a local area, in that jurisdiction or that block or wherever it may be, everyone's calling me during this live, man. Get off my phone. But if something does happen during that, then they're the ones like, hey, officer, hey, Coach Clee, hey, you didn't hear it from me, but you might want to check out such as Johnny B over at his house, or tell people to go check out Johnny B, or look at Ring Camera, because, it's blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And those things are what cracks the case.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Because we can't be everywhere, but just hearing those things when a kid comes up to you when they suspect, because school shootings is a big thing, obviously nowadays, and these kids know who's got what, and they come to your office or they drop you a text or whatever. Hey, take a look at so and so. That's invaluable.
Yeah,
that they trust you to be able to do that.
Yes, absolutely.
You're not gonna go, hey, Stevie's the one who told me.
And the trust goes a long way too, because just like they're trusting you with information, you gotta be. They want to know that, okay, yeah, I'm telling you this, but still, I can't be labeled as a snitch either. So you can't be like, yeah, blah blah. I learned this from blah blah blah. You still got to use your investigative tools, but now you know where north is, and you know how to follow that north.
Exactly.
Jamon's on here. Got to feel good to have that type of impact on your own community and the youth. It's a great feeling. I know I think I can speak for both of us, but I mean, how do you feel about that, Dale?
Yeah, absolutely. I love having that impact, and hey, let's keep it rolling. I'm not gonna be doing this too much longer. Like I said, about a year and a half more, and then hopefully the people behind me have that same philosophy and want to do the same.
Gotcha. So, being that you're not going to be doing this forever, how does bringing up the next generation or recruitment look as far as you're concerned, or just trying to get the right people in the right places as well? How do those efforts look?
Well, we know that law enforcement in general is having a hard time recruiting people. My agency, when there used to be, lines around the block back in the 90s for these jobs, and now you're lucky if you got 10, 20 people show up for these tests, and they're going to get whittled down at each step along the way. So it's tough, because in 2020 and all that is a part of it, but another part of it is they've got different options that they can do nowadays. The tech field, they can do stuff and work from home. They can be influencers and do what we're doing now and make more money. So we're competing with all that. So it's tough, and we got to show these kids nowadays, we got to be flexible. We can't be just as rigid and paramilitary like we used to. My agency recently, not recently, a couple years ago, we approved facial hair. When we didn't have facial hair, out here in California is really paramilitary. If you look at LAPD, and we got that button down look. So we approved facial hair. We approved tattoos. You can show your tattoos so long as they're not offensive, of course. So we got to be flexible to 2024 as opposed to it's not 1974 anymore. So those are challenges that we all trying to work through, and we all recruiting from the same pool of people. But it can be done, and there's people out there that still want to make a difference in this community. We got to reach them. We got to find them and reach them.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your podcast, Black and Blue, what's your end game goal? I know retirement for the career is right around. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But in the perfect world, let's say 3 to 5 years, or whatever your number is, what's your end game goal for the podcast?
Of course, I want to grow. I want to make more money. I'm making a minuscule amount now, and not that I need that because it's not my full-time job. I'm still a working guy right now, and even when I retire, that'll be my my income. So it's not really about the money. I just kind of want to get the message out there and continue with that and grow with that. But hey, like I said, I come up with different segments. I do lives as well, and I have panel discussions where I talk about issues plaguing our communities, and it's even though my main focus is minorities in law enforcement, I'm not exclusive to that. I have white counterparts on the show all the time, and we talk. A couple of the people that you've had on your show have been on my show talking about whether it be fentanyl or whether it be use of force incidents or what have you. So I just want to grow and show another perspective to law enforcement, even after I retire.
Right. And I appreciate the perspective that you're showing and keeping the torch moving forward. As far as a lot of questions that we get or that I get, I can only speak for me is why I say that. As far as either blue collar jobs or law enforcement jobs, some of the kids, young adults coming out of high school, military or college years, that age group between 18 and like 25, that group, they're like, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about law enforcement, but I don't know if I should or shouldn't. We're getting those bonuses. You can vest a lot sooner. You don't have to do the 20. A lot of departments are moving from the 25 years where you can get now 7 to 10 because they know they're not the new generations aren't going to stay that much longer. But as far as besides all the bonuses, besides all the newer features, how does salary look for most departments throughout the country that you're aware of? Is it something that I know that the myth is most cops don't make good income? But from what I understand, where the income that we get in most places, not all, is pretty decent.
Yeah, not gonna get rich in this profession. So if you think you're gonna get rich, even chiefs of police, they make good money. Don't get me wrong, and I make good money as an investigator, but you're not gonna be Bezos or anything like that. So if you think of that, you need to look elsewhere. But I can only speak for California because I know, and I hear about salaries across the country. We make really good money out here in California. Granted, the cost of living is a little bit more, but a lot of us don't have to work secondary jobs like I hear about in other parts of the country, and I'm pretty surprised. I was talking about this with one of my guests a while back. The chief of Manhattan Beach Police Department. We were talking about I don't know if it's like that in where you work, but in your jurisdiction, but where you can work another job in uniform, and that's just mind blowing to me. It's like, how can you? That sounds like a liability waiting to happen. That
we can't. Anyone watching that? Yeah, we can't do that with them.
Work a security job in your police uniform. That just sounds like a liability waiting to happen. But thankfully enough that we don't have to be able to do that out here in California because we get pretty good money. Some departments obviously more than others. My department, was really the benefits that was really top notch as opposed to other departments in the area, where the money itself was pretty good, but the benefits put it over the top. Reimbursement for education, reimbursement for medical bills, reimbursement, a lot of that sort of stuff is what kind of drew me to this agency as well. Cause I had a family when I first started out and over here. So, hey, you won't get rich, like I said, but you'll be comfortable. Hey, and if you take up another job like a podcast or you DJ or something like that, hey, you can supplement your income like that too.
Yeah. I think that's great. Just speaking on that, because I've had a lot of retirees come on the show, and I love highlighting them because everyone who gets toward the end of the occupation is all we have. You get known to be in law enforcement, you get known to be in the cop, and then when you retire out, like that stigma is somewhat gone. You see from the older guys. And they're like, yeah, I can't wait to retire. I can't wait. I can go on this endless fishing trip. I'm going to go hunting. And after a while, that gets old and they're bored. And they're like, I have nothing to look forward to. But then if you're already doing something, like podcasting, if whatever your hobbies may be, building, crafting, whatever it may be, that when you do retire, you're just jumping on to the next thing. And there's life after the badge. And that's a big deal, because I hate, especially getting the older I am, hating seeing guys that I've worked with, that the old guys, when I first started, they retired, and within 5 to 7 years, they were gone. I mean, as today, and I'm doing the funerals as an honor guard, and I'm like, wow, like, excuse me, no one works this job and gives so much of themselves to this job to finally retire and get your pension and benefits and all that, to only live for 5 years and then be done. Like I love seeing the guys having a second life after the job itself.
Yeah. I'm planning on doing another 40 to 50 after this, So yeah, and that's unfortunate, because like you just said, 5 years, the life expectancy, in our profession, because a lot of the stresses that we get to deal with. But nowadays, our profession is big on wellness and de-stressing and all that sort of stuff, so that, and we're not so wrapped up in this being all we are.
Yeah.
Is law enforcement. We are, we're family, we're brothers, we're husbands, we're sons, we're all that sort of stuff, but we're also, carpenters, we're podcasters. We can do all this other stuff that we can get into. I don't plan on golf. Well, I don't golf to begin with, but hopefully I won't be bored after this chapter of my life is done, and I can parlay that into something else. Like you got to stay busy. You got to keep the mind busy.
Yeah, you do.
You got to keep the mind busy.
Workshop. You're right. So if anyone's watching right now or watching the replay, and they actually enjoying this conversation, and they want to add their 2 cents, or they want to get to know you, or their former law enforcement, or have questions about law enforcement, what's a good way that they can get in contact with you if they want to actually be on a panel on your podcast or anything like that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I see you got my website down there scrolling on the bottom there, so they can go there, and there's a contact page at blackandblue.us, or they can hit me up on any of my social media pages. I've got Instagram, even a TikTok. Got the Facebook, Twitter, all that. You just look for Black and Blue US. Black and Blue. Remember, IN. So we, me and Clee don't get a little confused there. Get our wires crossed, but it's Black and Blue US.
Gotcha. Thank you for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, stand by. Sergeant Be Safe is going to throw some 2 cents in there, and we're going to jump right back into it. All right? Stand by.
Look at JD sitting there, thinking that he's the man. Not knowing Rob Your Blind's right there, right around the corner.
Love is in the air, I put on the gas mask.
Hello. JD's just sitting there, lost in love, not even knowing he sat his cell phone down.
I can't believe it.
And just like that,
it's all mine.
And with his cell phone, he has access to everything.
It was too easy.
Looks like he gave it to Chance Wilder to do some hacking.
My plan is complete. I'll have it all.
And with your cell phone, he'll have your email, bank account information.
If you could just confirm your name and address.
Sergeant Be Safe, is that you?
Hi, JD. How are you?
I really need your help.
Okay, what happened? How can I help?
I laid my cell phone down and Rob You Blind stole it.
Oh, yeah, I heard you were lost in love at that Valentine's Day gala.
Chance Wilder used the information to steal my identity.
Well, that's unfortunate. Did you put a lock on all your personal information? If not, I suggest you do that now, and I'll do what I can.
Can you get it back?
I promise you I will do my best. Identity theft is something that is constantly on the rise. Make sure you protect yourself in all ways possible. Hey, get your hands up. You both are coming with me. You're under arrest for identity theft. Ooh. I'm Sergeant Be Safe. That's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
Subscribe now.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's one of my favorite ones. I like doing these holidays. There you go. The holiday Sergeant Be Safe commercials. You know they're only cyclic for certain times of the year, so that's one of my favorite ones right there. You know,
Yeah, Valentine's Day just passed, so yeah.
He was in there partying. You saw it was just him and like 4 other women, man. Then he put his phone down. It was a wrap.
Yep. Sergeant Be Safe is a G.
He tries, man. I don't know. He kind of gets me in trouble sometimes with his ideas, but no. So jumping right back into it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I'm having a good time having a conversation with Dale Peters, the host of Black in Blue, Black in Blue. You see his website scrolling below. If you have any questions for him, make sure you put them in the comment section now while we're live. If not, make sure you put them in the replay and we will address them. But look again, make sure you guys check his platform out. Where are your various platforms? I know you said to get in contact with you through various sites of social media, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're more prevalent on LinkedIn, at least for going live or having your content being shown, or is it all various different forms of social media as well?
Yeah, brother. Just like you, I'm on all of them. So when I do go live, it is on LinkedIn, but it's also on YouTube and Facebook. And so occasionally I do Instagrams, and haven't gotten into the TikTok lives, but those are the ones that I generally jump on for my lives. But yeah, I'm on all those platforms. So I do the other content, as well, clips and pictures and all that sort of stuff. But if you really want to contact me, get on the website. There's a contact form that you can fill out, and I'll get back to you.
Perfect. My apologies on that. I didn't want to limit you and limit your contact or anything like that. No. So through the course of the conversation, we had a great conversation. I may have forgot to ask a question, or I may have jogged your memory on another topic or anything that you wanted to touch on. Right now, I may have forgot to ask something, or you may again want to put something out there. Is there anything that you would like to express with us right now? The floor is yours.
Yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate that. So, yeah, man, I just wanted to talk about, treating everybody, law enforcement, come in contact with, treat them with dignity, treat them with respect, and that'll come back to you in tenfold. Like I said, a lot of those things that drag my being in law enforcement was Rodney King, and then fast forward to 2020 was George Floyd and all that. So these things are continued. These are the same things we were talking about way back when, even before Rodney King. We were talking about that during the Watch things and all that. And so, like I said, we are not perfect, but we are striving to be. And hey, let's move forward with this. If you have any idea that you think you want to be involved in law enforcement, check out your local law enforcement agency. Ask for a ride along. That's kind of, again, that one thing that kind of sparked my interest. I thought it was a cool job. I went on a ride along with a couple law enforcement agencies, and I was hooked. So this is a job where you're not going to be doing the same thing every day, and that's kind of what sparked my interest. I didn't want to be sitting in an office, and maybe some kids nowadays, they want to be influencers, so they're sitting here at home in front of a camera all day. That wasn't me. I wanted to be out there with the community. But you will be working nights, you will be working weekends, you'll be working in the rain. If you out here in California, at least in LA, you won't be in the snow. But if you're out there where Clee is, you'll be working in the snow. So take that in consideration. But it is a rewarding job. You get to impact people, like we were talking about earlier today, long beyond your years of working as a police officer. So take that to heart and go out there and do some good work. Do God's good work.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. That's a way to end the show right there. This is the best. This is the ticket to the best show on earth right here, and you get a chance to give back. And the experiences that you get are some are doom and gloom, or some are grandiose, and you just can't make this job up. You just can't.
You can't, because it's everything that you take in. It's the best job. I was talking to somebody earlier about whether they wanted to be, they were waffling back and forth between law enforcement or firefighting, and they eventually chose law enforcement. And I told them, yeah, you made the good choice there, the best choice, because we got the best stories, the best experiences, because you're a firefighter. What are you gonna tell your family? We had this big raging fire and we put water on it. that's it. That's your story. We got the best experiences. And I love this profession. It's done a lot for me and my family, and there are times where it's going to be dangerous. We were I know you've heard of that San Bernardino terrorist shooting back in 2015. I was involved in that. My agency is next door to that. So we were all hands on deck, and everybody rolling out to that. And so my agency was the one that was involved in that shootout. My team was on duty that day, and you can deal with that 1 minute, and then the next minute you can be taking a cat out of a tree and returning it to its owner. So you get that wide variety, and there's nothing else like it.
Absolutely. I know. It's funny you use the comparison with firefighters. We were talking about that over the weekend, my platoon and I. And not a knock against firefighter. I got firefighter friends. I had firefighters. Not a knock, guys.
Just fun ribbon. Fun ribbon.
Exactly. But they race down the roadway for either a property crime or property damage. And most time, I won't say that they don't do a good job or anything like that, but we've done so well with getting people out of the house, or how homes are built in a way where there's multiple different exits, safe exits of getting out of the house, to where the property, you might have property damage itself. I know there's going to be firefighters that correct me. I know that. But then with law enforcement, you've got property crime, property damage. You've got personal crime, personal damage, physical crime. You've got so many different things, serious crimes, felonies, summaries, that you never know what you're walking in on. Some things you get dispatched, and it's dispatched at level 10, and you're going code 3 down to go get to set up a perimeter for an active burglary, and you find out that it's the landlord and he misplaced his keys and he's going through a window just because his property, and you're like, oh, okay. It goes from level 10 to level 0, and then you get something. Okay, check the area of alarm that comes in every Tuesday at 10 o'clock every single time. So of course it's level 0, but you treat it the same, and you find out, of course, this Tuesday at 9:58 it's the real deal, and now you got to level 10 this time.
Yep. I will give firefighters their props. Our station is connected to one of the fire stations in my city. And, so when you're going in and out of the station, a lot of times you get the firefighters in the summer, they're out there barbecuing. They got some steaks on the grill and that sort of stuff. But, hey, and I would tell trainees when I was FTO, when we get called to a scene, we'll roll up, park, jump out the car, run up to the house and do what we got to do. But, firefighters, they rolling up, lights and sirens, park in front of the house, get out, stretch, go to the side, pull out their boxes and walk up to the scene. And then I would tell a lot of trainees, maybe we should be doing that. Don't rush into these scenes. When you get there, take a look around. And some situations, even active shooters, I'm not taking it nonchalantly, but you do have to go in, but take a look at what's going on in this situation. Don't just run in blindly. Kind of understand your surroundings and what's happening, and so you can go in there, and because if you end up there too, these situations you're not helping. So take it all in and understand what's happening before you rush in. That's all I'm trying to say.
Absolutely. Dale, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. It's good information, good conversation going on. I appreciate you. I appreciate you making your time available to come on here. I know you're doing a good thing for the community. I know you're doing a good thing for law enforcement. I know you're doing a good thing getting the message out there, humanizing the badge for not just minorities, but for all people as well. Like you said, sharing that information is a big deal. I don't take it lightly. Again, I've said it a couple times on the show. I commend you for what you do. It's not easy to do, but keep pushing it forward. Keep getting that message out there, and good things will happen. And I'm looking forward to watching you flourish. Thank you.
You too, brother, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And we got to do this again. Great. We got a comment, Shayla. Great live. Keep up the amazing work you're both doing. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. My voice was fluctuating in and out, but we made it through. I had a lot of fun doing it. This isn't always easy to do, but it's a lot of fun to do, and it's necessary. And you see it again from Dale Peters on the West Coast itself, gotten the same charge, we have the same goal, similar goals in mind, and we're pushing it forward. It's a pleasure for me to have him on the show. I got an all-star lineup for the remainder of the month. I'm currently setting up the month of March as well. Workwithclee.com if you're interested in coming on the show or anything like that. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. We go live weekly at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we go live next week with a special guest. And I want to tell you who they are, but I'm not going to, because I got to leave you with a cliffhanger to make you come back for next week. And we're going to go live again next week and have a lot of fun doing that. New Starting to Be Saved cartoons, book promotions coming through. It's a lot of good things going on. This is Black and Blue. I'm your podcast coach, Clee. I'm your motivation speaker, your empowerment coach, your author, and your favorite baker's favorite baker, saying 10-4, over and out. You guys take care of each other. We love you. Talk to you later. Peace.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. I heard a loud noise and I thought someone was breaking in.
Don't worry, Jeanette. I'll take a look around. I'll make sure everything's secure. Aha, I found your problem. It's your smoke detectors. They need batteries. It's definitely not your burglar alarm.
Oh, silly me. I guess I got a little too alarmed. Thank you, officer.
I'm glad I could help, but you need to make sure you get some batteries immediately and take care of that before it becomes a bigger problem. Abby, it sounds like you're having a little bit of trouble with your car battery.
Yes, officer, it's dead. I think I need a new one.
I see the problem. Nothing's wrong with your battery. Just turns out that you're actually out of gas.
Oh no, how did I not realize that? Thank you for saving me the expense of a new battery, officer.
Well, I'm glad to find out that you're only out of gas and don't need a new battery. Looks like there's a gas station right around the corner. Let's see if they'll accommodate you so you can get on your way. Good morning, ma'am. Hey, Mario, how's it going? I'll take my usual cup of coffee.
Officer, it's on me today. Let me buy you a cup as a token of appreciation for keeping us safe.
Well, thank you, ma'am. That's very nice of you. I appreciate it. I'll kindly accept your offer. You know, Captain, it's getting colder out here, and the holidays are quickly approaching us.
Yeah, it's that time of year, my friend. You know, the time we start responding to weird calls.
They say it's cuffing season, baby. You ain't good enough.
True. I almost forgot, Captain Chaos. You're absolutely right. Cuffing season is now upon us. You guys be safe out there. That's coming from me, Sergeant Be Safe. And that's your tip of the day to get you on your way.
I'm not a bad cop.
I never once said you were. It would be real simple if the problem was bad cops. It ain't.